Hey everybody, this is Chef Franklin. Welcome to my YouTube page. What shall I render unto you? The love of food or the love of how food is presented? Before I get started, please make sure that you comment, like, or subscribe. Now today, what I'm gonna do is basically, I made a meal the other night and it was like a healthy meal. And basically it was like some grains with some vegetables that I put together, and we were eating it with some seafood. And I'm starting this, I don't know, little health kick or whatever you want to call it. So my kids got me doing exercise and I'm out doing a 2-mile walk and all this other stuff. But you know, if I'm gonna eat something healthy, it has to be something that I like. And so for some of you who are not familiar with some particular type of grains, I wanted to introduce to you today a grain, well, a couple of grains. This one is a brown rice, and you can buy it from any type of brands. I got this one from the store, Aldi's, and it is simply nature with no GMO, and it's a quick brown rice. And what they mean by quick is that it's been partially cooked already, so it won't take as long to boil or simmer out. It'll cook quickly, just like your typical white rice. But this is different because it still has all of the nutrients and stuff in it. So brown rice is better versus white rice. But if you want more information about the good effects of brown rice, you'll have to check out a different video or submit your questions in the comments below. The other grain that I am going to be using is something that's called a quinoa. And this is pretty much what that quinoa looks like. You can buy it in the grocery store where it already has like the seasoning in it, where it's like chicken or some sort of herbs and other different things. I have the basic quinoa so that I could pretty much spice it up and add flavors myself. And which brings me to today. So the other night, as I said before, I made some grain with some vegetables, and I had a lot left, and I still want to go ahead and eat that today. So I want to show you what it looked like. So I mixed the brown rice and the quinoa together and with some corn. So what I'm going to do today is to hype this or spice this up a little bit more by simply adding some more vegetable to it, like green bell pepper and an onion. And I'm going to take it and saute it in my pot and warm it up, add a little salt and pepper, and boom, that's it. And so again, this is my healthy kick. So I'm gonna move all of this stuff out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing here. And of course, when I saute it, I'm gonna use this olive oil. There are a lot of good olive oils out there. I'm not promoting anybody in particular, but this is what I have today, okay? So of course, olive oil is a little bit better than some of the other oils as far as health, heart health is concerned. So because I'm doing the healthy thing, here I am with the olive oil. No butter, no bacon fat, no chicken fat, just olive oil. Okay, so I'm first gonna start with, notice I always like to have some sort of trash bowl right here with it, because you should not be standing over your garbage can putting your trash inside of there. You absolutely should not be doing that. So you always want to have some sort of bowl. It may require it to be a big one, but I'm only going to cut onions and bell peppers, so I don't need anything particularly extra big. All right, and I have my trusty chef knife. Of course, you want to always sharpen your knife before you start working. Now, I am a fan of having good tools. So basically, I'm just using some stuff that I have on hand, but I will recommend to you the best type of cutting sharpener that you should have. So put your comments below if you're interested in what type of knife sharpener that you should get, and also what type of knives, because there's a lot of different stuff out there and they're not all good. So this one has worked pretty well for me. They do have some that are a little better built, but the best part about this is that I don't have to worry about the handle separating from the blade, all right? And again, this is a chef knife, and this one is roughly about 12 inches long. They come in different sizes. You can get a 10-inch or 8-inch, and so this one is about a 12, pretty long, right? All right, of course, you wanna make sure that you are holding your knife correctly. You can either go a little further back or forward, and if you go forward, you wanna make sure that thumb is there and the rest of your fingers are wrapped around the knife. All right, so I have already kind of taken my onion and cut it in half. So there's the butt of this onion, and so it is facing what I call horizontal. If it was, I'm sorry, facing vertical. But if it was horizontal, it would be the opposite direction. So literally, I took this onion and I cut it horizontal where the butt is. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and remove the skin off of there. And then, so the butt part of the onion is facing horizontal. Now I want to take it and face it vertical. And so what I'm going to do is take my fingers and put it in a claw, because you want to make sure that your knuckles hit the knife and not your fingers, because if you cut with your fingers like that, you're likely to get yourself a cut or cut your fingernails or what have you. So keep those in the claw, and then what I'm going to do is take the knife and bring it back towards me, and I'm going to cut small slits into this onion. Yeah, I'm stuttering a bit. This is real though, okay? Real stuff, out of mind. All right, so I'm gonna put these little slits in there, okay? I don't know if you can see it really clearly, but there are those little slits. And then I'm gonna take the onion and I'm going to turn it horizontal, all right? And so now I'm gonna go across, and go across. And then basically, boom, I've got those little small dice, all right? And I'm not gonna cut up this whole onion, all right? I don't need a whole lot because I'm just making a serving for myself. Now, for you first-time people who perhaps haven't cut a lot and you're looking like, oh my goodness, it's long, it's big, it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. That's where this nice little technique called the rolling technique, where you can take and go across and start to cut those onions down, right? Take it and you cut it down, and what you want to do is make sure that you're looking at your onion, and it will start to take form where it looks a little bit smaller. Wait, stop the press. I need to show you something. All right, you see my cutting board here? It is imperative that you have something under your cutting board to keep it from moving. So there's a couple things you can do. You can put a wet towel, or you can put a wet paper towel, but they also have things that you can buy out in the store where you put up under the cutting board and it's not wet, but it'll keep it from moving. So I'm gonna grab a paper towel, I'm gonna wet it, I'm gonna put it under my cutting board to keep it from moving. See that motion there? That's not what you want. All right, so grab a little paper towel here, wet it just a bit, and then I'm gonna take it and put it under my cutting board to stabilize it, to keep it from moving, all right? And this is what you should do before you start your cutting. Notice, see how much more steady that is? All right, that's what you want. Okay, so back to the onion. All right, I have cut this down, and I have roughly, so I did half of a small onion, and if you want to put that into measurement type, I've got about a quarter of that onion. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn my stove on so that my sauce pot can begin to get hot. All right, and I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. You should be able to see that flame. I'm gonna bring it down some, and that will allow me enough time to go ahead and work on my bell pepper. So I'm gonna take my onions and I'm just gonna move it to the side a little bit, and I don't have to worry about cross-contamination because these are all vegetables. I have no red meat here, no chicken, no beef or anything like that. So I don't have to worry about cross-contaminating. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can cut this bell pepper, and we can get really fancy with it. I'm gonna keep it really simple for now. If you wanna see the fancy stuff, you gotta come back to my page on how to cut a bell pepper in a fancy way, all right? This is good stuff. You don't wanna throw that away, but I'm not gonna use it today. I'm gonna put it to the side. All right, we all notice how the seeds and everything is on the inside of that bell pepper. We'll take that and just pull that out. This one didn't have a whole lot of seeds, okay? And so basically what I'm gonna do is go ahead and just cut that in half. Now, there is something called a pith on the inside of the bell pepper. And the pith, usually what we do is remove it because it doesn't really have any flavor or anything. And so I'll take this and I'll just cut it down, and then I'll use my knife to simply just remove that pith. Now, some bell peppers are a little bit more flatter and you can remove that. This one is a little curvy. It's no big deal, but it didn't have a whole lot of pith to it. And so I'm gonna use half of this bell pepper, and then what you do is you take it and you cut it in strips. Cut it in strips, right? And then you turn it around, and then you begin to cut. And what you'll get is little small dice, depending on how far you move your knife apart. Right, small dice here. I'm gonna cut this down some because they're still really big, but before I begin to cut it, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the other half of this. Right, my pan is getting hot, so I'm gonna turn it down some more. And I'll just take it off briefly so that when I put the oil in, it's just not, you know, all over the place. We don't want that. So no big deal. I wasn't ready, but it's fine. So there's always an easy fix to things, no pressure. You just think it through and make it happen. All right, so here I go with these strips again. All right, isn't it a lovely day outside? Oh God, it is Friday and it's about 5:12 and I am in Illinois, not too far from Chicago. And the weather is fantastic. I know everybody is waiting to get back to normal. It'll be a little while, but in the meantime, make sure you practice social distancing. We want to keep our elderly and babies and just all of us, we want to keep ourselves safe. All right, so I'm going to go in with the rolling technique again, just to make sure I can cut this bell pepper down some because I don't really want all these big chunks. And the key is to make sure that my onions and bell pepper all are cut basically the same size. Why? I'm glad you asked. What that does is make sure that everything cooks out evenly, right? So if you got like these really small pieces, they're gonna cook really fast and they'll start to burn. And then you'll have the big pieces, which won't cook as fast, and then you're still waiting. Now, what I'm gonna do with this, now I've used the word cook, I'm gonna saute these onions and bell pepper. I don't want to add any color to it. I want to saute it until it becomes translucent. And translucent means that it's like a little glimmer, a little shininess to it. And basically it allows the flavor to start to come out. So I'm going to give you a close-up on this so you can see what that looks like. Ready? All right, so I'll go right in. Got a nice little sizzle on there. onions. And I'm just going to do a little stir. Okay, I'm going to add a little salt and pepper now. You can make this any flavor that you want. And I think I'm going to add some Asian flavors to it. I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce, just to flavor up this profile a little bit. I'm going to add, so come on in so I can show you what I mean by translucent. Right, so there's no browning on that. I don't want it to be brown. I'm just trying to infuse the flavors a little bit. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add the quinoa and rice and corn. So notice that I did put some salt in there. Remember that soy sauce is salty on its own, so you don't need a whole lot of that. So I'm gonna add a teaspoon of soy sauce. Okay, I'll go 2 teaspoons soy sauce. And I am going to add a tad bit of mirin. I'm only going to go 1 teaspoon of this. And mirin is a sweet, almost syrupy kind of Japanese sake is what it is. Right? See, mirin, Japanese sake. And it's sweet. And it added a tad bit of the Asian flavors in there. It smells really, really good. And again, this is for those of you who want to eat healthy and want to add a little bit of a kick to it. A little bit of flavor. You know, there's quite a few different things that you can do to this. And so basically, this is my Asian or semi-Asian quinoa, brown rice, and corn. And this is pretty much just a little something that I'm gonna eat tonight. No meat tonight. No meat, just this bowl. Nice little quinoa bowl. It smells fantastic. So I'm gonna get a fork and try it. And then you have to try it. So let's see. It smells really good. Oh my, this is awesome. You are going, let me chew. You're gonna absolutely love this because I'm getting the flavors of almost like I'm eating some fried rice, right? But it's quinoa and it does have brown rice. But it's like on the healthy side instead of white rice, and then you got those sweet vegetables in it, and a little bit of mirin and a little bit of soy sauce. It is fantastic. You absolutely have to try this. So don't forget to comment, likes, and all of the above. And if you got any questions about the grains, please feel free to do that. So thank you for joining in on today with Chef Franklin.